Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Judy, and today we're going to be talking about what is spiritual consciousness. Before we do, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button and hit that little notification bell, I would appreciate it very much. I really do appreciate you guys. Anybody who's coming on to just listen to what I have to say, or maybe is a seeker trying to find some kind of an answer somewhere, I hope that I can help you with that. Or at least entertain you. Spiritual consciousness. So first we have to figure out what consciousness is, right? So in a human form, consciousness is simply our awareness of what's going on. We have consciousness when we're awake and we have consciousness when we're asleep. But our awake consciousness is generally thinking about one thing at a time. What's going on? What do I need to say? Where do I need to go? Oh, I see that pretty thing. I see that, just what our awareness is our consciousness. And your brain can only accept one form of active stimuli at a time. What that means is that your brain is constantly hopping around looking at lots of things, but it's really only on one thing at a time. And that's where, as humans, we have a little bit of a sort of a drawback because we have to jump around in our minds. Of course, it's not something we do consciously. It is subconscious. So consciousness when we're awake is simply where we're putting our attention. Subconscious, which is when we're asleep, our consciousness when we're asleep, or what's going on behind the scenes. Basically the same thing. When you go to sleep, your consciousness is not there. It's not active. But you have subconscious, which is always there, whether you're awake or asleep. And when you're asleep, your subconscious is what kind of comes and says, oh, let's pay attention to this now. Now, you may dream through or sleep through most of your subconscious activity. Dreams sometimes come from subconscious. In the daytime, our subconscious is still very active. It just isn't showing itself as easily. Sometimes it'll whisper to you like, hey, remember that dream you had last night? Remember your hair was purple. Maybe you should dye it purple. Dyed purple, not dried purple. Anyway, your subconscious kind of says things to you. And that's a little bit different than your intuition. So, subconscious might be a thought that is kind of suggestive, where your intuition is absolute. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Good girl, you did it right. Anything like that is your intuition rather than your subconscious, which is just putting thoughts out there. Spiritual consciousness goes beyond, goes beyond your brain. Spiritual consciousness is an awareness you have in your soul. And some people don't know how to reach into that. They know it's the core of their being. Well, some people don't. They don't believe in any of that. But if you believe that there's a possibility of a soul, then you must understand the soul is at the base of everything. It's not who you are out here. It's who you really are in here. So your real self, your genuine, your most authentic person, is not a person, it's a soul. And we talk about spiritual consciousness, it's the awareness of soul. Not just the awareness it's there, but the awareness it has. And there's very few times when people can easily reach into that. Some people have taken drugs like LSD and go, oh, I saw this. And I don't know, I've never done LSD, so maybe you do see yourself from soul's perspective. I don't know. But I talked a couple videos ago about meditation. That certainly brings you there. If you meditated every day for 20 minutes, at first you might not really, some people can't do it right away. And they give up after trying it for a week or two because they think, oh, well, what's that? That's not even... You have to kind of keep it up, just like anything else you've ever done in your life. You get better at it with practice. And the practice really is allowing yourself to see or hear any thoughts that are going through and just pretty much ignore them. And just kind of go further and further and further in. And once you do that, you hit a state of really bliss, of ecstasy. You feel like no matter what's going on around you, no matter what your concerns or worries are, you don't even have to think about them right now. Because everything's fine. You're in this beautiful state where everything feels really good. Not just physically, but emotionally. You know, your memories aren't bugging you. Your logic isn't bugging you. Nothing's bothering you. And if you just sit in that quiet, blissful state of, I am soul, you might even get a glimpse of somebody else you know. Oh, hey, come here. Spiritual consciousness is not just being aware of soul, theoretically. It's actually a matter of having stood with your soul, having stripped off the coats that I talked about many, many, many videos ago. Even if it's temporary, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Really listening to your soul and being aware we are all that. We're not this, really. We are soul, and we are all soul. And that's where you find love. Spiritual consciousness is when you get to the point of not just knowing about soul, but actually standing in that soul consciously and being aware that we are all love and feeling that love on whatever level you feel it, because I'm sure it's different for everybody. Spiritual consciousness is being aware that we are here for a reason and the conscious choice to work toward that on some level. You're not going to be perfect as you're human. That's okay, because we're not supposed to be. It's all about the experience. But choosing to try to find that state of acceptance, of peace, belonging in your everyday life. Not that you can walk around all the time like that. I mean, we do get angry, we get hungry, we get sick, we get, frustrated. But coming back to that, snapping back to that as soon as you can and putting your mind there, you become somebody who is conscious of your spirituality, conscious of your soul, conscious of the love we all share. I think that's the best way I can explain what spiritual consciousness is. It's awareness that we're not in this alone, and that we're all tied together with those beautiful strands. The quantum mechanics and physics talks about the strands that bind us. I talk about it as spirit that binds us. Same thing. So that's all spiritual consciousness is. Not bad, right? If you thought that what I said was something you would like to ponder, or you found it interesting or fascinating or okay, how about hitting that like button for me? And I will be back with another thought or two. Have a wonderful day.